Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR My Career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day, and today we've got breaking news and it's involving me. NASCAR has dropped the hammer and they have suspended me for today's weekend, or this weekend's race here from New Hampshire, fresh off of a win last episode from Matt Kenseth. And we jump straight into the weekend because, well, we're not in the car in this number 21, and a very unfortunate situation, of course. And, well, replacing us is Bobby Hamilton Jr. And on top of that, we have another new driver making their Cup Series debut this weekend, as Kurt Busch, following last episode's major crash, is out on a injury this week, actually broken wrist, and he is expected to be back in the car next episode. But Carl Edwards is making his NASCAR Winston Cup Series debut, and actually just so happens to start in front of the guy replacing me in the number 21 this weekend of Bobby Hamilton Jr. So we have to live through an entire episode of watching someone else drive my own car, and that is not going to be an enjoyable thing for me. As NASCAR, they had enough. They dropped the hammer last episode. I had a crash out, took out the zero of Jack Sprague intentionally. Let's just be real, it was on purpose. And we had just come off of probation just a few races ago, and NASCAR said this is not going to slide any longer, and cracking down on me being a rookie driver coming in a little bit hot-headed at times. And, well, you know, that's the consequences that we have to pay. And, you know, maybe this is a turning point. So you might be wondering, how am I going to, go through with the points? So however many points Bobby Hamilton scores here in this number 21 car, we're just going to subtract that off of our season end points, and that's where we will end up. So we have to watch Bobby Hamilton Jr. drive this number 21 Motorcraft Ford Taurus here all race long for 105 laps here in New Hampshire. And it's a really unfortunate situation because this was a track I was really looking forward to getting behind the wheel of this car for, because I felt like we can have a very solid top 15, maybe even flirt with a top 10 run. And I thought we were going to be in for a good weekend, but unfortunately we're not going to get that opportunity to find out, and we still don't know if our future is going to be with this Wood Brothers Racing team. We still have an offer from Red Bull Racing, and I will be making a decision on my future, which might not even be an option with the 21. We might have to just go with Red Bull. Going into next episode, we will be making a decision and announcing that. Now, when it comes to the championship situation, of course, well, we had Matt Kenseth win last episode in Chicagoland, and we saw, of course, two of our members actually a part of the career mode lore on the 17 car team, the Gaming Freak and Wild Child Esner. So they both pick up their first wins with the 17 team. So congratulations to those two right now, as Ryan Newman was out in front here in these early laps, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. here actually working his way forward actually into the top 16, looking for a top 15 position as he was continuing to just kind of carve his way forward in his Winston Cup debut here in New Hampshire now. And Jeremy Mayfield there just in front. How about Jamie McMurray? Continues to have very solid runs this season, and honestly, unfortunately for me, that's going to be an opportunity for him with me getting suspended and getting no points this weekend. It's going to be an opportunity for him to close in on the Rookie of the Year battle, and Jamie McMurray really having, like I said, a solid rookie season, and I think he could, have a very solid Cup Series career, on the way for him now as we continue to watch Bobby Hamilton Jr. here in some battles. 105 laps of racing, and it's going to be at least a 3 to 4 pit stop race here from New Hampshire, as well as Newman continues to lead the way. So, it really not fun getting to be, from the viewer point, knowing like, hey, I'm going to come out of today watching this race and watching my car race around this track and cross the finish line, take the checkered flag, and know I'm going to get 0 points for it now. But what we are watching, though, is Matt Kenseth actually out front now in the number 17. He has taken the lead here from New Hampshire, as you can see Rusty Wallace passing Hamilton Jr. here and moves himself into the top 15. And as this run was going on, Bobby Hamilton Jr. actually starting to really struggle for grip, and he'll get passed by another Rookie of the Year contender of Greg Biffle, and then Joe Nemechek, and then Bill Elliott. They were all coming up the inside here making some passes, so things not looking great as the laps were going on later into this run. And we knew this 21 team was going to have to make some adjustments to get Hamilton Jr. back to where he needed to be for the next run that was coming up here now, and coming to lap 17 now under pressure from the 32 of Ricky Craven on the run into turn number 1, and Craven would go by on the inside here to make another pass, and unfortunately this 21 car is going to drop down to 20th place once this pass would be completed. So just kind of marching backwards a little bit here in the running order now, and you can see, look at the just group of cars right there all running together now as approaching lap 24. Now, a fuel run, you can go about 30 laps. You can stretch it to about 30 laps here in New Hampshire on a full tank of fuel. But of course, now you're going to see drivers come in a little bit before that now, trying to get tires and maybe get out in front of a car in front of them. And the pit stops were starting right here as somebody on the front straightaway, you can see on the track map, has come into the pits. But when's the leader of Kenseth going to come in? The plan for the 21 team was to keep Bobby Hamilton Jr. out on the track to a point to where the 17 would pit, and therefore he would pit after to make sure he did not lose a lap. That was the concern, is losing a lap and then a caution comes out and getting tracked a lap down. But unfortunately, a lot of track position loss for the 21. There was some big adjustments needed, but now Matt Kenseth, as we were approaching lap 30, Kenseth actually looks like he is going to come into the pits finally from the lead here, probably come end of lap 28 now, as Hamilton's going to go around at least one more time, break into the top 10 for the time being with 77 laps to go. I expect Kenseth's going to be in right here, and no, he would stay out another lap, so Kenseth really stretching this out, and that forces the hand of this 21 team. But hitting lap 30, there was still a few laps to fuel in the car, so really you could go 32, 33 laps if you really need to, as Kenseth sure enough comes in from the lead of this race, picking up right where he left off in Chicagoland, as Bobby Hamilton Jr. actually gets a speeding penalty on the first pit entrance in his Winston Cup career, as wedge adjustments. We're gonna be seeing the wedge go up on this car, because you could see the 21 was just sliding like crazy at the tail end of that run. So now that's going to be about 14 seconds of waiting due to the speeding penalty. So Hamilton, in an attempt to stay out longer to make sure we don't lose a lap with this 21 team, we end up losing a lap anyways because of a speeding penalty. Jeff Gordon now out in front in that DuPont Chevrolet number 24, but the question is, how long will that last, because it seems like Matt Kenseth is the car to beat here today. But as time would go on, Hamilton actually runs down Kyle Petty, and he is going to pass him, and making some passes for positions and trying to basically race his way back into now a free pass position to get himself back onto the lead lap. Not going to be easy, honestly. I think it's going to take a caution and then on that restart to work their way forward and then get another caution if we're going to have a chance at a free pass. And there's the first yellow, the 99 of Jeff Burton into the outside wall. Caution is out, and well, the 21 team might as well come into the pits for 4 tires and fuel, because there's only one spot to lose, and of course everyone's staying out here, so no spots to gain. So to be P39 for the restart is Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick, your front row for this restart. Jeff Gordon, terrible season. Last episode in Chicago, things looking a little bit better maybe for that 24 team, and now they seem to be firing off pretty well here from New Hampshire. Let's see what Bobby Hamilton Jr. can do here behind the wheel on this restart with this number 21 car now, and it looks like Terry Labonte in the number 5 was your free pass as they head down this back straightaway now, and Jack Sprague, the car that I wrecked last episode and of course got myself suspended right there to the inside of this 21. Don't expect a 0 to lean too hard on the 21, considering it's not me in the car this weekend now, as we continue on down this front straightaway. This is the first time in any career mode series where we've actually been suspended, and I really wanted to actually showcase that here in this career mode, considering the track record we've kind of had here this season so far. It's not been pretty now, as Matt Kenseth, by the time it came to lap 40, had returned to the lead of this race here from New Hampshire. So things looking pretty good for that number 17 now. They've been put back in traffic through a pit cycle. They've worked their way back through, so we know that 17 car is capable of pretty well doing whatever they need to do, really, to get themselves in front. So I got a good feeling for if you're a Matt Kenseth fan, or if you're on the number 17 team as well. Part of the lore in this career mode now is we continue to see Hamilton Jr. work his way forward in these next few laps, and not in a free pass position, unfortunately, as you see him passing the number 4 now of Mike Skinner around the outside, heading down this back straightaway, trying to work his way forward before another caution comes out. But we had one heck of a green flag run there, got over a full green flag pit cycle in, and you have to wonder if that's going to happen again, which honestly I think could be potentially an advantage for this 21 team now, as you can see this 21 Motorcraft Ford Taurus continuing to inch closer and closer. I believe Dale Jarrett is currently the free pass car in that number 88. So Hamilton Jr. getting closer now as we come towards lap 45 at this point now, and racing side by side there briefly with the 77 of Dave Blaney. Come lap 44, ripping the top there around Dale Jr., who's having a pretty rough day here from New Hampshire. Things not working out very well for him, as now he'll get alongside the 40 of Sterling Marlin. 2 wins on the season so far this season for the Coors Light number 40 Chip Ganassi Dodge. Now it's been a pretty impressive season for Marlin now, as they'll continue to now work on passing that number 40. But a contact there on the exit of turn 2 though slows up the momentum on the 21 as they head down this back straightaway now, and actually in front of us there's some trouble. Mark Martin blows a tire, he's slow, and the caution is out, and Dale Jarrett gets the free pass, 1 spot shy of the free pass for this 21 team. And now pretty well everybody eventually would elect to come into the pits as we'll get ready to go green. And now Bobby Hamilton Jr. should be at least now in the free pass position, but I mean, he was going to get there in just a few laps time. Just a shame at the timing of that caution. And you see actually Kyle Petty stays out, so we'll need to get this 21 in front of the 45. I don't think that's gonna be a very big ask as we return to the action here from New Hampshire now. Mark Martin, not been a great season for Martin, but he is running in the top 10 in the standings, which kind of surprises me now as you see this 21 3 wide now on the exit of turn 2, heading down this back straightaway now, and Martin slips back now as we continue on as well. I might want to just note as well, some of you might be wondering, well, like, if I'm not driving, if I'm suspended, why are we showing the race or the episode and maybe just skip to the next one? Well, every race is super important to this championship, and I wanted to kind of replicate the pain of like watching someone else drive your car, and also of course make sure we can watch the race play out in the process. Now as Matt Kenseth continues to lead, but now this 21 team with Bobby Hamilton Jr. behind the wheel into a free pass position. So at this point now you're just hoping that a caution comes out at any point. Our luck for this 21 team, it'll go green for as long as possible. But I mean, I gotta say, I don't mind watching Bobby Hamilton Jr. run 32nd, because when you watch someone else get in your car, you don't want them to do better than you. You want them to run like crap, let's be real. So I personally would not mind this going long and maybe another car getting lapped, and therefore the 21 doesn't get the free pass. But as we approach the halfway point of this race here from New Hampshire at the Magic Mile, I mean, we're continuing to watch this 21 thrive relatively well in this free pass position now, and as well passing lead lap cars. We saw earlier the 21's got a top 20 pace in it, so not surprising to see Hamilton here going around the outside of the likes of now Steve Park in the number 1 and continuing to work their way forward. And just like I said, they're hoping in this 21 team for a caution, and they're going to get it because around goes the 45. Kyle Petty brings up the yellow, free pass to this Wood Brothers 21 team. Jeff Burton's coming into the pits, the only one on the lead lap pitting. And as well, the 21 team, since we got the free pass, of course, they're going to come in, get tires, and fuel. So as we get ready now for a restart, Kyle Petty is the first retirement of the race as well. The number 45 is out as Matt Kenseth gets ready to lead the field alongside Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon in third, then Ryan Newman as well right there with them. We're back underway here from New Hampshire now, and well, just under 50 laps to go, but it's 48 to go. It's a one-stop race at least for this 21 team. Now I'll be curious to see for the rest of the drivers. I believe it is a one-stop race for everybody, but of course we know right now the 21 has more fuel and fresher tires than the rest of the field, excluding Jeff Burton, who is in the same situation, but obviously way further up the field now, as we're going to need, to see another yellow for this 21 team to get themselves back into an opportunity to be closer to the front, of course, now, and everything resets, because, of course, when you take that free pass, you go to, the tail end of the longest line now, as you can see Hamilton here just kind of taking his time. I think that's one bit of a difference we're seeing between him driving this car versus me, is there's a lot more patience, I guess, in this 21 here today now, and I feel like we get a little bit more aggressive and kind of carve our way through the field as fast as we can, and sometimes it hurts us, sometimes it benefits us. Obviously, there were some moments throughout the season where it has gone against us, and I would include last episode in that conversation as well, where things really were not on our side now, as we continue to watch Hamilton get his way through this order. Dale Jarrett, who had that free pass earlier, has dropped down to the 31st position, well, I wouldn't say dropped down, he got up to 31st, but hasn't gotten really anywhere since then. Now, as we continue to work our way forward here with this 21 team, and well, yeah, I mean, still getting to watch at least this 21 on track was fun, but obviously, like I said, I don't really like watching someone else in my car here, and I am looking forward to getting into this car next episode, and on top of just getting back from a suspension, making a statement. Now, we'll be headed to Pocono in the next episode, so I'm hopeful that at the Tricky Triangle we're gonna just have an opportunity to have a solid day. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of spotlight on us come Pocono, and the reality is, like, I'm going to be going into Pocono and understanding, like, I can't make any more mistakes, and not only in Pocono, but like throughout the rest of the season, we can't afford to make any more mistakes. So we're going to have to clean things up. Of course, we can be aggressive. We can absolutely be aggressive, but we're just going to have to overall clean it up. Stop running into people. If we're going to wreck ourselves, honestly, because we're not going to get suspended wrecking ourselves. But yeah, we got to calm down and make just overall smarter decisions, and I am confident we can absolutely do that. And as we now are approaching, getting closer to fuel window, I mean, we are pretty well, hold on, we got problems. Dale Jr. with an engine or a tire issue of some sort, definitely an engine issue. That's going to bring out the yellow, and that's going to put everybody right on the fine edge of that fuel window, which I was just starting to talk about. Kenseth leads over McMurray, Gordon, Waltrip, Stewart, your championship leader there in P5. Jimmy Johnson having a rough day, by the way, outside of the top 10, and Carl Edwards in the top 10 on debut. But yeah, I mean, this is going to bring everybody to the pits for tires and fuel, and the 21 team comes out in 2 spots to the gain right there, as it's going to be Kenseth, McMurray leading the field back to green. How about Jamie McMurray up there getting the elbows out this weekend now, as we're back underway from 24th position for this 21 team. It's 30 laps to go, so if it goes green to the end, which I don't see that happening, but if it does, everybody should just barely be able to make it to the end of this race. So I think no matter what, this is a scrap until the end. But if we run, 15 laps and see a caution, I think you'll see some split strategy throughout the field. But only time will tell on that one now. But this is the opportunity right here for Bobby Hamilton Jr. to kind of prove himself now. He got the yellow he needed to get himself some track position. Can he work his way further into this top 20 before this race comes to a close? Kenseth still leads over now Jeff Gordon, Waltrip, as well as McMurray, the rest of the top 4 now. And McMurray, I mean, having a major run in points day against myself, but he is starting to fall down the order a little bit, I can confirm. But as well, Carl Edwards, this new phenom Roush development driver, they've got this guy ready to come into the Cup Series at some point in the future, making his Cup debut for the injured Kurt Busch this weekend in the number 97 after breaking his wrist last week with a major accident. He has had a top 10 run all day long. Very impressive from the young driver now of Carl Edwards, and you have to wonder what his future might look like here. But with a run like he's having today here in New Hampshire, I think it's going to be a very promising future for him now as we continue on. Now at this point to lap 85, and this 21 had been battling with Tony Raines actually for a little while now in the 74, and ripping this kind of third lane up, trying to get the momentum off the corner. Mark Martin as well in the Viagra number 6 6 just behind, ready to pounce if the opportunity presents itself now as we continue to watch these two battle it out now. But we're coming to just 20 laps to go here from the Magic Mile, and Matt Kenseth continues to dominate this race. If he wins today, that would be career win number 14 for Matt Kenseth. Then what a season it's starting to turn into, because I mean, we kind of talked about it. He's been pretty consistent. He has had a few rough races here and there. And the 17 team, they had qualified on pole position so many times this season, but they hadn't turned any of that into a win until last time out in Chicago. Kenseth finally goes to victory lane, and now he shows up here in New Hampshire, and he's been dominant ever since he got the lead. It took him a little bit to get to the lead in stage one. I'm talking current NASCAR. He got to the lead early on in the race, and ever since then he has been basically untouchable. So things are looking real good for him as we have already gotten into these final, 17 laps of racing now, and this 21 unfortunately hadn't really been going anywhere. And I said earlier, I don't think it's going to stay green to the end of this race, but with 13 laps to go, we have now seen over half of the run play out, and we're still green. So there is a potential this goes green till the end. That would be kind of cool, where we start the race with a full-length run on field, and then we end the race with a full-length field run. But still, there is plenty of time for a yellow to come out now, as Hamilton Jr. sliding into turn 3 as we came to 10 laps to go at this point now, running 22nd, and he hadn't really gone anywhere. He was just kind of stuck here in about 22nd place. Now, if I was in the car, honestly, I think we'd be running top 15. Don't want to float my own boat, but that's just, how I think at least about where we would be if I was behind the wheel right now. But we, of course, are going to get to prove that next episode in Pocono. But at this point now, Matt Kenseth has hit lap 100. Just 6 laps to go here from New Hampshire. And this 21, you can see sliding around a lot again. And that's opening the door for Tony Raines to come back into the conversation. It's going to be hard for Hamilton to hold him off. But Matt Kenseth just hoping it stays green for a few more laps around this track here now, as unfortunately the 74 of Raines to the inside of this 21 now, and Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s got nothing for him out of turn 2. Through goes Raines now, and Matt Kenseth just got to get around a few more times now as we come to the final lap at this point for the number 17. And unfortunately, Bobby Hamilton Jr. just did not really go anywhere on this final run, and now is down in 23rd position, dropping off the back of the cars in front. But you can see him struggling, 10% remaining on the right rear tire. But Matt Kenseth, he's going to do it in pure dominant fashion through turns 3 and 4. One more time, the number 17 DeWalt Ford Ford Taurus team, Matt Kenseth, wins it here in New Hampshire. Kevin Harvick's going to be runner-up in second. Tony Stewart in P3, and Jimmy Johnson, a big loss on points here today as well for that 48 team now, as that's career win number 14 for Matt Kenseth. As well, in our suspension race, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is going to bring it home for 23rd position for this Wood Brothers Racing team. And congratulations on back-to-back wins for the Gaming Freak and Wild Child Esner, picking up the wins for them. That's awesome to see as well, as they move up the leaderboard basically in member wins now, as you see the rest of your finishing order. Jeff Gordon with a really solid race as well this weekend, and we'll take a look, of course, at the points here, because that's where it gets really interesting. So Tony Stewart still leads by 16 points over Kenseth. A few rough races for Jimmy Johnson's put him way down into the 494 points. So he's got some work to do, basically 30 points to make up going into Pocono next episode, where we will return to this 21 car and get this team back on track. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.